Raquel, can you please record?
For those I haven't met, my name is Audrey, and I'm your person at Zillow here to take care of you. And I thought it would be a good idea for us to jump on a training today and just go over some best practices on how to best nurture our leads, because as we all know, the money is in the follow-up. So let's dive into that today. If you have other topics or questions you want to make sure I answer in this meeting, just throw it in the chat. And Raquel, if you could just help me monitor the chat and just let me know when questions come up, that would be super helpful. All right, so let me just pop right in here. Can we see my screen? Okay, good. Let me just make sure I share audio too. One sec. Okay, so some quick ground rules. Normally I present this in person, and I've met a lot of realtors in my day in person. And when I do trainings, sometimes I'll look over and the agent's just on TikTok or they're on Instagram and they're not paying attention. So that's what this means. All good if you want to post and share this on social media about how lucky we are to learn such great content from us as a team. But I just want to make sure if you're in this meeting that you're present and you're not just, scrolling through Twitter or social media. Be present, ask questions, make sure that you are taking notes and you're, making thoughtful notes of what you plan to implement. And then at the end of the meeting, we're going to ask everyone to chime in or put in the chat, what's one thing that you plan to implement from today? Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. I thought it would be helpful to kind of set the stage on what we're looking to accomplish at Zillow and some of the why behind it. I oftentimes feel that when I share this, it helps provide that helpful context on, what we're trying to accomplish and why this is important and how you fit in. So just so you guys know, in 2021, last year, there were 6.1 million homes that changed hands, meaning there were 6.1 million home sales in the United States in 2021. That means that there were actually 12 million transactions, because for every home that sells, there's a seller that sells it and a buyer that buys it. Are we following here? Okay, good. Because I know it's a little early. So out of the 6 million buyers that purchased a home last year in the United States, 4 million of them were active shoppers on Zillow. So 2/3 of the transactions that took place last year among buyers were actively shopping on Zillow. If you want to just nod your head, who can tell me if that statistic makes sense? Like, does that make sense to you guys that a large percentage of the actual buyers that bought a home last year were actively shopping on our site? I mean, who doesn't know of or use Zillow? That makes total sense to me. Out of the 4 million that are actively shopping on our site that did buy a home last year, roughly 1.5 million of them spoke to one of you. So think about that. 1.5 million out of the 4 that bought a home, they actually transacted, they spoke to a Premier agent on the phone, meaning one of you, via a live connection call. That's really awesome. That means about 25% of customers that bought a home that shopped on our site did speak to you. And then only 360,000 of those phone calls with you ended up buying with you. So that means we left a lot of money on the table for customers that did speak to you, but they didn't buy with you. They bought with somebody else, whether it's a friend, a relative who's a realtor, another realtor, whatever it is, they didn't buy with you, but they did talk to you. So we have 2 key objectives at Zillow Group over the next couple of years. One, this is an internal objective, but the 4 million that ended up buying a home and they do shop on our platform, we know the audience is there. It is our goal to convert more of those 4 million into connections so they speak to you. And we're doing a lot of work behind the scenes to make that happen. We're getting to know the consumer better. We're nurturing them directly ourselves. We're leveraging our data to better understand how we can have more thoughtful conversations with the consumer so that we can give them what they need at the right time. And that's work that we're doing behind the scenes to generate more connections so that we can capture more of the 4 million and get them over to you, so that you can have a conversation with them and help them with their real estate needs. The second objective that we have that we really want to move the needle on is among the 1.5 million that spoke to you, we want to convert more of them. So our goal is to actually double the conversion from 360,000 transactions last year that Premier Agents had with Zillow customers to 700,000 transactions. And the way we plan to do that and moving the needle on improving conversion is to work more closely alongside you to improve, the way we hand off the customer to you. That's a lot of stuff that we're working on in pilots, to work to get them pre-qualified before we send them over to you. That's work that we're doing in our pilot programs, not available yet in San Diego. But more importantly, how do we best nurture the connections we have, the customers we have, so that we can stay in front of them and convert them over time? So what I'm trying to illustrate to you here is that the money is there. The transactions are there. They're in your PA app. They're in your follow-up boss. What we need to do a better job of is nurturing that client and converting them long-term and getting them over the hump so that they end up buying with us and they become a client for life. Really quick, before I go into the nurture process, would it be helpful for anyone if we did a quick refresher on what the script should sound like when you get a connection call? Or do we feel pretty confident about that? Take a quick minute.
You're muted.
Sorry, I would say go over it if you don't mind.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. I know there might be some new people in the room. So when you get a connection call from Alex at Zillow, you're going to hear a recording at the beginning of the call that says, "Hi, Alex here, connecting you to a local agent now." Raise of hands, how many of us recognize that recording? It should be almost everyone. Okay, good. So when you hear that recording, the buyer hears it too. They're also on the phone and they hear that recording. So as soon as that recording is done playing, it is go time and it's time for you to wow them and start your introduction. I might suggest that you thank Alex. I know Alex is just a robot. It's not a real person on that recording, but let's just make that handoff or passing the baton from Alex at Zillow to you a little bit smoother. And maybe you adjust your introduction and you say, "Thanks, Alex. Hi, this is Audrey, your Zillow Premier Agent with Palisade. How are you doing, Susie?" That's a good, acceptable intro. Your intro needs to be really strong because this is phone sales. This lead is not your client. They're not your customer. You have to earn the right to make them your client. You have to get them to want to meet with you face to face. Then when you meet with them face to face, you have to demonstrate your value. You have to build fast rapport. You have to connect with them in a meaningful way. You have to find out what it is they're looking for. You have to ask for the business. You have to educate them about the process. You have to secure next steps. There's a lot that has to happen. And it all starts with this initial phone call, and having a really strong intro is critical to that. Another good intro would be, "Thanks, Alex. Hi, this is Audrey, your Zillow Premier Agent with Palisade. I see you're looking at 123 Cherry Street and you want to check it out today at 3:00. Does that time still work for you, Hedda?" Another way to get at a really good intro is by opening for the appointment. Once you hear the consumer say, "Oh yeah, I want to see it today at 3:00, as long as that time works for you, or it could work for someone on the team, just say, "Perfect. 3:00 works for me. I just need to check with the seller, make sure that time works for them, and I'll circle back with you in about half an hour to confirm. Now, are there any other homes you want to check out while we're looking in North Park? I want to show you a few, Hedda, so we can make the most of your time." If they say, "Oh yeah, there's 2 other homes I really want to see in Mission Valley," hey, no problem. What are the addresses of those homes? We'll go ahead and add them to the tour. Now, John, what was it about these homes that you liked? What caught your eye in particular about these properties? And get them to open up and share with you what it was they liked. Oh, I really like that these homes are near University Ave. I'm really looking to be fairly close to downtown because that's where I work. And what I really like about this home is that it has a fairly open floor plan with a lot of light. Play back what you heard. Okay, so what I heard was that you're looking for something with an open floor plan with a lot of light. You want to be close to downtown and fairly close to University Ave. Does that sound right? And they're going to say, yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. And you say, perfect, I can definitely help you find that. And then this is the part of the script where you're going to recap your next steps. So you're going to say, here's what I'm going to do for you. Right after this call, I'm going to send you a text message so you have all my contact information. That way you know how to reach me. I'm also going to confirm our showing with the seller for 3 o'clock today for those 2 properties over in North Park. And I'm going to circle back with you in about half an hour to confirm everything. And I'll also go ahead and pull up other homes that may be coming soon, off market or not on Zillow, so that we can compare. And I'm going to bring those with me to the showing and we can check them out in person. How does all of that sound? So if you say all of this in your recap, they're going to walk away pretty impressed because that's a lot that you're going to be doing for them. Just to give you some context, the first thing you have to do when you hang up the phone is text them, because how are they going to get a hold of you, right? And 1 hour after your phone call with them, Alex at Zillow is going to text them and say, hey, how did it go with Patty? Hey, how did it go with Mona? And if they haven't heard from you yet, you didn't even text them your contact info or that you're going to be in touch soon or nothing about your follow-up, that's an eternity, 1 hour after the phone call for a buyer to have to wait. Just think about what your life is like now. When you order something on DoorDash or Uber Eats, you get a text message right away confirming they got your order. Then you get a text message confirming that they're making your order. And then you get another text when the driver's on the way. And then you get another text when the driver picked up the order. That is the type of responsiveness and communication that buyers want to hear. So when you hang up the phone, the first thing you got to do is text your client. It doesn't have to be a text confirming the showing, because how could you have done that yet? But it should be a simple text that says, hi, this is Matt. I'm your Zillow Premier Agent from Palisade. We just spoke on the phone. I'm really excited to meet with you. Here's all my contact information. You can contact me anytime you want to check out a home. I'm happy to help add that to the tour and service you in any way possible. Like I mentioned, I'm working to confirm our showings. I'll be back in touch in a little bit or in half an hour. It's always our goal to deliver an amazing experience. If there's anything we can do to make this better, please let me know. Like something simple like that. And Raquel, I'm sure we have a template and follow-up boss for what a great, initial text looks like after we talk to a connection. And so that's the first thing we should do. And the reason why it's important that we do this is you're basically making deposits of trust. If you told them that you're going to text them and then you hang up the phone and you text them, you are literally doing what you said you would do and you are earning their trust. It's the easiest thing you can do. Then you got to reconfirm in this recap that you're going to schedule the showing. What buyers don't want to hear is, oh, okay, I'm going to work to schedule the showing and, I'll let you know later tonight or tomorrow morning or just before the showing if we're all set. Again, that's an eternity for a buyer to have to wait. Keep them updated. Hey, I'm going to work to schedule our showings. I'm going to circle back with you with an update in about half an hour. I know that getting the showing confirmed is not always in your control, right? Because sometimes you have to wait for the listing agent to get back to you. Sometimes you have to wait on certain things from the showing instructions. Sometimes you need proof of funds, whatever. But at the very least, your buyer deserves constant updates from you on how things are going with that, so they know that you're working hard for them. And then this last part of the recap, how many of you on your phone calls, and it's totally okay if you do, but how many of you on your phone calls say that you're going to look for homes and you're going to email it to them? And then you want them to open up the email and tell you if they like anything, and then you can go show. Quick raise of hands who does this on their phone call or in their follow-up in any way. No one tells their buyers they're going to email them listings. There you go, Josh. Anyone else? Patty? Yeah, Deb, you tell them. Cassidy? Yeah, you tell them you're going to email them listings. and you ask them to look at the email and tell you if there's any they want to see. So, and what I like about this is that you're basically starting the search and you're getting them going. What I don't like about this is you're putting the ball in the buyer's court to tell you when they can see homes, tell you, you know, when they want to check out property. On this phone call, the initial one, I think you should set expectations that you're going to look for homes for them. You're going to look for homes that are off market, coming soon, not on Zillow. And if you see something that matches what I'm looking for, you're just going to bring them to the showing. You're going to book them. You're going to add them to the list, because who knows the market better? You do. Who knows the inventory better than the buyer? You do. Remember that. Don't let your buyers walk all over you. And then you say, how does that sound? And if you say all this at once, they're going to say, wow, that sounds really great. And then you transition into the CSAT part of the survey. Remember, asking this, it's not about telling them to do you a favor. It's not about telling them to please just take the survey. It's about setting expectations that it is your goal to deliver a great experience when someone works with you, and they can hold you accountable to that. So, hey, before I let you go, Matt, Zillow's going to be reaching out in the next 24 hours with a survey, just asking about the level of service I provided to you on this call. Matt, is there anything I can do to make this a 5-star experience for you? He's going to say, no, Matt, no, Audrey, you were amazing. Well, perfect. No problem. Again, my name is Audrey and I'm your Zillow Premier Agent. I'm really excited to meet you today at 5. That's how you should end the call. You should reintroduce yourself, because honestly, halfway through, they already forgot who they're talking to. Does this make sense, guys, in terms of how that initial call should sound? Okay, good. So in the chat, or you can yell out loud, what do we need to accomplish at the first appointment with a Zillow customer? Let's go ahead and throw that into the chat. What do you need to do when you meet with a Zillow customer?
Develop a rapport.
Oh yeah, develop rapport, number 1. What else do we need to do?
Earn their trust.
Yeah, earn their trust. There you go, Nellie. Earn
Good
that
job.
trust, build the rapport. What else do we need to do?
And show them you're working for them.
Yeah, show them you are working for them. You are there for them. They are your number 1 priority. And during that showing, you have to make them feel that way. Show value. I see in the chat, that's really important. They have to see your value. Show them you're the professional and you know your stuff. There's nothing more correct than that. You, in that first showing, you have to demonstrate what you know about the local market, guide them through the process, that you can help negotiate on their behalf. What else do we need to do in this initial appointment?
You need to somehow connect with the client.
Yeah, you need to connect with them in a meaningful way. Buyers want to work with people they know, like, and trust. When you take a Zillow call, I can assure you, they don't know who you are. They do not like you, and they barely trust you. That is a fact. And it makes sense. They're a complete stranger. They don't know you yet. They have not realized it yet, but they just met the most amazing real estate agent. But you have to get them there. You have to convince them of that. You have to get face to face with them. So when you meet them, that rapport has to be fast. You have to build fast rapport. You have to connect with someone in an emotionally meaningful way. You have to get them to like you. You have to get them to know that you're going to work hard for them. And Eric said it best, straight up, at the end of that first appointment, you need to ask for the business. Everybody knows other agents. Everybody is talking to other agents. Do you think you're the only agent in their email inbox? You're not. There's at least 10 other agents in there. Do you think you're the only agent that's calling them and texting them and showing them property? You're not. There are others out there. The one that's going to win, the one that's going to close that transaction with that buyer, is going to be the one that straight up asked for the business and was persistent in continuing to work hard for them, despite all the obstacles that came in their way. We need to talk about the process and schedule the next appointment. Absolutely. Never leave an appointment with a customer without lining up the next appointment. even if you don't have any homes to show them because there's no inventory in their price point, the buyer should know when they can expect to hear from you next. You got to have that conversation. Hey, I know that none of the homes we saw today are the right ones for us to write an offer on. We're looking for something that has a little bit of a bigger backyard so the dogs can run wild and more space for your kids. So how about this? Typically, new homes come into the market or towards the middle to end of the week with showings to start on Friday. Why don't we go ahead and set aside time for us to check out property, you know, Friday around lunchtime or Friday early afternoon? That way we can be the first ones in the door, and go ahead and, you know, set aside this time on your calendar. As soon as I get listings come up, I'll go ahead and book those showings and send them over to you. If you change your mind, we can always cancel the time. But at the very least, I'm going to allocate, you know, 3 to 5 p.m. for you in my calendar so that we don't drop the ball. How does that sound? Just line up a soft appointment. Like, get them to know that you're on their calendar and they're on yours, and you're communicating what the next steps are. Let's say your buyers coming in from out of town. They came in from out of town. They didn't like any of the homes. Now they're going to go back to Michigan. Line up the next appointment on when they can expect to hear back from you next. What else do we need to accomplish in this showing? In this first showing with the buyer?
Look, you're professional. You have to look professional when you meet with the client. To me, it's being sloppy, not to dress up and show with the wet hair is show them you're just running to the appointment.
Yeah, you got to be early to the appointment. So at least 15 minutes early, because guess what? If you're on time, you're late. And if you're just on time, and let's say the buyer doesn't know who you are, which if this is your first appointment with a Zillow lead, they don't know who you are. What if they accidentally talk to another agent and then that agent shows them the home? So make sure you're early. And I think it's funny, no one mentioned this, but no one mentioned you have to show them the home. You got to do this at that first showing. Show them the home and show them what it is that you look for in a home and what makes this home special. What are the deal breakers for this home? Now, I'm not saying you need to talk them out of a sale, but be honest, like, should I buy this home? Is it a good investment or not? What do you love about it? What makes this home unique for the neighborhood? And what should I be looking for when I look at homes? You know, you got to make sure that you're demonstrating your knowledge. You also need to educate your buyer on the process. You know, people don't buy homes every day. You guys do, but they don't. The average consumer buys and sells homes maybe once every 7 years. So you got to do all this in that first showing. And then let's say after that first showing, they decide they're going to wait. Raise of hands, how many of you guys have had buyers in that position? You had a great first showing. You killed it, crushed it. They love you, but then they said they're going to wait. Yeah, it's okay. If they're going to wait, it wasn't the right home. It wasn't the right time. We need to wait for the stars to align to make it the right time. But in order for that to happen, your follow-up, your nurture game has to be really, really good. And so that is what we're going to focus on today. How do we win at that nurture game? So a couple key points for us to think about. It takes 16 touches within a 2 to 4 week span just to engage with the customer. And luckily enough for us, you know, we have access to Raya and really great technology at Palisade to help us with this. But just remember, a touch is a form of engagement. So if you text someone, that's one touch. You call them, that's the second touch. You email, that's a third touch. You send them a text again, that's a fourth touch. It takes 16 of them over 2 weeks just to get someone to respond to you. You have to be really persistent in your follow-up just to get someone to engage with you. And it's not that they're not a serious buyer. It's not that they're not worth your time. It's just that they're busy. 44% of salespeople give up after one follow-up attempt. How many of us are guilty of that? We got a lead, we called them, and then we got busy. We had an inspection, we had a showing, we have multiple offers on a listing, we have counters. You know, we're trying to deal with family stuff. The kids are in virtual school, like we get busy. But most, roughly half of salespeople give up after one follow-up attempt. We can do better here. And then how many of you guys knew this, but just to get someone to answer the phone and talk to you, you have to call them at least 6 times. over the course of like 1 to 2 weeks. How many of you have had this experience where you called someone once and they didn't answer, and then you called them multiple times, and then finally after 6 times they'll answer? So that magic sweet spot for how many times do I need to call someone just to get them to pick up the phone? It's at least 6. 3 key things to reach out to think about is 1, you're not bugging people. I know it feels like you're bothering them because you're emailing, you're texting, you're calling, you're trying to get a hold of them. You're not bothering them if you bring value when you do reach out. When you say, hey, how's your home search going? 100 times, you're not providing value. Let me just tell you that. If that's the only question you're asking when you follow up with a lead, hey, how's your home search going? You're not providing value. Just remember that. The average number of touches before a conversion happens is at least 16. 16 touches just to get someone converted into an appointment. It takes multiple appointments to make them your client. Think about that. Just because you answered the phone does not mean they're your client. You have to earn the right for them to be your client. So let's talk about what database touches look like. How many of you guys have your database and follow-up boss, and do you systematically know when you're reaching out and touching your database with the raise of hands? Just 1?
Can you ask
2?
the question again? I'm sorry, I got lost.
How many of you guys have your database in follow-up boss and you systematically know when you need to talk to your database? Just a handful of
Be
you guys.
honest.
You got to get better at it. Let me tell you, one of my best friends lives in San Diego. She lives in Serra Mesa. She bought a condo from Connie Cannon like 6 years ago. And she was referred to Connie by another friend who bought a home from her and had a great experience. And now my friend is thinking about selling her condo. It's a great time to sell in San Diego, right? She's thinking about selling her condo. She wants to move into a bigger house with her partner. And I was like, that's awesome. Are you going to call Connie, to help you list your house and help you with your purchase? And she said, honestly, once I closed with Connie, I never heard from her. And it's been 6 years. And that's a loss on you. You have to follow up with your database. No one is stopping you from making those activity calls. No one is stopping you from calling your clients, calling your database, like texting them. Like, you don't have to ask for business every time you talk to them. Just continue the relationship. Don't collect and neglect. So ways in which you can maximize your database and show that you're staying in front of them is 1, ask them if they have questions about their equity. I can assure you most of your database, most of your past clients in San Diego probably have amazing equity right now. Raise of hands who can say that that's true. They should know. Remind them of it. Let them know how awesome that is. Ask them, hey, now that we have all this equity, is there any chance that you need to get cash out of your investment properties? Maybe so you can do some renovations, maybe so you can buy another investment. Sometimes customers have these types of questions. Check in and see if they're planning to do any work or any renovations to their home. How's everything going since they've moved in? Are they planning to do any work? Were there things that they put off when they bought the home that they're now thinking of doing now? Do they have questions on maybe what's going to get them the best ROI? Should I add a pool or not a pool? Should I open up the kitchen or not open up the kitchen? What's going to help me with my resale value the best? Minimum level of service as a real estate agent is to check in with your clients and just see how they're doing now. We're 2 years into the pandemic. You should check in and see how they're doing. Sometimes they just want that emotional connection. Here's a simple script that you guys can use. We'll email this deck out, of course, but if you are that agent where it's been a long time since you reached out to your database and you're embarrassed to start because it's been so long, it's okay. Hey, Deb, I was just thinking about you, and shame on me for not reaching out earlier, but I thought no better time than now to touch base with you. I just want to check in and see how you're doing. How are you and your husband doing? Just be genuine, just say hello, just reach out. That's a touch. Make sense? Now, in terms of strategies for how to make sure that you're diversified in your approach, if you're reaching out to clients that maybe you don't have great rapport with, they're kind of cold leads, mix up when you follow up. If you're trying to get a hold of someone for the first time and you're texting and calling them same time of day, same day of the week, several weeks in a row, and you're not hearing from them, switch it up. Good times to do follow-up calls are in the morning between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. and in the afternoon between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. So you can try to catch them, on their way to work or after work. When you do reach out, provide value. Examples of value are, I just talked about, equity, pulling money out to refinance or do renovations, renovation work, local events. There's tons of fun stuff to do in San Diego. There's a really fun beer festival in North Park, a really fun food and wine festival. There's always concerts, there's games happening. There's so much good food. There's tons of restaurants opening. Like, San Diego is an amazing place to live, and you should be, carriers of that and show your clients or show your leads what's going on in the area and provide updates on that. Another thing that's really important is actually to personalize your follow-up attempts by engaging your clients with video. Just a raise of hands, how many of us are using video in some capacity when we talk to clients or with leads? Josh is doing it. Who else? Angel, you got video going on. Katya, just 3 people? There's got to be more. So this has been shared time and time again, but if you're not doing video in your follow-up, then you're completely missing out and you're leaving money on the table. And I know that with certainty. Video is one of the most effective ways to engage with customers, to get them to believe new information, to get them to connect with you emotionally, to make you a human and not just a realtor reaching out. I highly recommend that you guys leverage more video to re-engage with your leads and with your past clients. If there's one thing that you take away from this meeting, it's to do more video in your follow-up. I'm confident that if you do more of it, you're going to have a better connectivity rate with your leads and your conversion rate will likely be higher. When we look at all of our flex teams nationally, the teams that do more video are the ones that have a higher conversion rate, and those are the ones that end up selling more real estate and making more commission. Okay. So in terms of follow-up, make sure that when you do follow-up, is the content that you're sharing relevant to your audience? Is it interesting and informative information in some way? And do you include a call to action? Do you include a question at the end that gets them to want to respond to you or learn more information or follow up with you in some way? So a good example of a follow-up text message would be, "Hi, Beth. I'm texting you a couple homes on Zillow right now. I think the first one especially is a great contender since it has the finished basement that you're looking for. What do you think?" This is a great example text when you're following up with the lead. Why is this text good?
You're being specific about what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Customized.
I'm selling you on why this is a great contender. It's because it has the finished basement you told me you're looking for. And then it has a call to action to get you to tell me what you think. What do you think? As opposed to, this is not a good text. "Hi, Beth, just checking in to see if you have questions on any listings from the search." How would a buyer answer this question?
They don't
At this
answer.
text. Yeah, they don't answer, or they'll say, "No, thanks," or they just will ignore you. This first text gives them a reason on why maybe they should respond. Make sense, guys? I'm going to play a video from a team leader from another team that does a lot of heavy video in their follow-up. And I thought it was an interesting message that maybe we can all use a helpful reminder in hearing.
Hi everyone, just wanted to send a quick message to both the inside sales and the sales team. I was talking to one of you yesterday about how to go about, just some tips on how to go about getting appointments and just securing, new business. So you have your past client sphere that you might be checking in with, see how they're doing, how's the house going, that kind of check-in. Maybe you're gonna do a pop by. Invite them, out for coffee, dinner, whatever it is. Those are your true nurturing relationships, past relationships. That makes up a very small majority of the calls and emails that you're sending out every day. The rest is going to be those people you want to turn into new clients. So we're kind of talking about that, and okay, well, what is it that you're sending? Well, I sent them a message to see how their search is going, if I have it set up correctly. So I said, okay, instead of that's not asking for the appointment or saying, hey, I just wanted to see if you're just let you know I'm available if you want to, go look at houses or something like that. So just my comment to her was to be just more intentional with the calls that you're making. So reaching out and, trying to asking for the appointment, just asking for the appointment versus, tiptoeing around it. So for example, let's say you have time this weekend, you have Sunday, your Sunday is open and you want to work on Sunday. So sending a message, let's say you have somebody who's looking, send them a link, go up in the MLS, pull some houses that you like, that you think would work for them, copy the link, send it in a text message and say, hey, I have these houses that are available. Which ones would you like to take a look at this weekend? I have some time on Sunday. Does, morning or afternoon work better for you? And just being, that direct, you'd be surprised how many people say, actually, yes, I do have time and I'd like to see X, Y, and Z.
Were you guys able to hear the video?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, perfect. So the whole concept behind this is be intentional about your message. Don't just say, hey, just checking in. How's your home search going? Like, be direct. Hey, how are you
Audrey,
doing? Yeah.
I want to add to this, and I have been advocating this, and I've talked to everybody about this over and over. And I don't know how many. I know that not everyone's doing this because it requires work. So what I have done when I was nurturing a lot of the buyers was it's practically having a monologue. And what I would do is I would set up my whole day every day and say, if I'm looking for properties for Mariko and she's giving me her wish list, I would just spend my whole day taking videos all day. And hey, and I actually, one client, I did 3 days straight in a row to a point where they flew the third day and said, okay, that's the house for me, Heda. So when you're constantly just texting them with no content, they're going to ignore you. But I promise you, the busiest person will appreciate you because you went above and beyond. Even though they haven't hired you, you do have to go to work before they hire you. And like I said, looking at houses that being intentional, looking at specific houses, texting Mariko, say, hey, Mariko, I previewed 3 houses for you. Please let me know what you think. Am I getting closer?
I think that's a great point. And so talking about video, this is a script if you want to send a basic video that doesn't have a lot of context or value. So you can film a video on your phone and then upload it into Follow Up Boss and send it as a text message to your client. So it would say, hi, Sam. It was great speaking with you yesterday about 123 Banana Street. Just wanted to check back in and see how things are going with your search. Let me know how I can help. This is just a basic video. You're going to get basic results. Here is an example of a better video. So I'm going to go ahead and call someone to read this out loud. Deb, you're up. Deb Trevino, come off mute and read this out loud for me, please. How you would say it if you were filming a video.
Okay. Hey, Sam, I know it's been a while since we've last connected. I just saw this house on 123 Banana Street and I can't see. And it made me think of you and your family and what you're looking for. And when we spoke a couple of months ago, hope everything's going well with you. Just wanted to send you this video, see if it caught your eye. Let me know where you're at and when you're available to get back. Hold on, when you're available to get back out there this week to see some houses again.
Great job, Dev. So if you were this buyer, Sam, and you saw this video versus this video 1 or video 2, which one is probably going to get you to respond?
2.
2. Duh, 2. Okay. Here's an example of a follow-up call. So let's say you call them. Hi, Bob. This is Audrey with Palisade. I showed you a house a few weeks ago. How are you? Client's kind of an asshole. Good, Audrey, but I'm busy. Hey, don't worry. I'm going to make this quick. Now I've been keeping an insanely close eye on the market for you, and I've identified a few properties that I'm confident you're going to love. I'd love to show you them this weekend if you're available. How to Saturday at 10 sound. The goal here is to make Bob feel like you are working hard for him and you've been working day and night to find him homes. All he has to do is show up and bring his checkbook, which is what we want. You got to sell it. You got to sell them on why they should see you again. So don't just email listings and say, hey, tell me what you think. Say, hey, I found some homes. I've been working really hard to look for them for you. Our inventory is very tight, as you know. I really think we should check these out. Are you free on Saturday? Here's an example of a video that an agent over in Arizona films really quickly and sends out to clients through Follow Up Boss. I actually know this specific story. They had a buyer fly in from Wisconsin to look at some investment properties. They took a connection call. They flew in, showed them homes all weekend. They didn't like anything they saw. And then what do you think they did? They flew back home to Wisconsin. And then now you're just chasing them, right? You're just chasing them, nurturing them. Hey, we're going to come back out here, texting them. What do you think of these homes? Calling them, no response. And then finally they sent a video and they responded and then flew out the next weekend and went into escrow. Oh.
Hi, Jan. This is Danielle with the Garcia Group at My Home Group. I was just calling to check in and see how we can help you. It looks like we were trying to schedule a time for you to go and see 11314 East Escondido Avenue when you got back in town from Wisconsin. So I just wanted to make sure that you were able to connect with Michelle. She's a really awesome agent. So she'd love to get you out there seeing homes as soon as possible. So if you could just reply to this email with a couple of times that work best for you to get you out there, we'd love to help. Thanks. Have a good day.
I know you guys probably think that you could do it better, and I'm sure you can, but the fact is they're doing it. You don't want your videos to be overly produced with like lots of lighting and professional shots, because then it doesn't feel genuine. So I think if you just time block maybe an hour of your day where you're just sitting in front of your phone and you just film a bunch of videos and just send them out. And then that way you're most efficient with your time and you can stay in front of your database and engage with people. Here's an example of another script on what you can do for follow-up. So, hi, this is Audrey from Palisade. How are you doing today? I'm curious about what you've been thinking about from our last conversation. What did you think about the new list of properties I sent over? Would you like to set up a showing? Do you need any help getting the right mortgage or loan information? What info do you still need from me to help you pick your ideal property? It seems like the next step is X. What time works for you to meet today? You know, examples of types of questions you can ask in your follow-up. Now, here are some pokeballs or ways in which you can get in front of someone to try to like nudge them along and add a little bit of value, especially if you're nurturing someone. So John, can you come off mute and read this blue part out loud? This would be an example text message that you would send to a client.
Hi, Stephen. I just found this article on the town that you're looking for. Thought you might find it interesting. How have you been, by the way?
This is really easy. All you have to do is Google real estate news in North Park or in Encinitas, whatever city you know they're looking in. Just Google it. Whatever interesting article comes up at the top, copy that article link and then text it to a client or DM it to them on Instagram. You're not like pushing them to send you business. You're not pushing them to like buy a house right now. You're just nudging them. You're just poking them a little bit with a little bit of value. And then it has a call to action on just how are you doing? All right, Emily, come off mute and read this blue text on the left. So this is where you would go on Zillow and you would go into your PA app and you can see what homes your buyer is liking or saving. And this is an example of a phone call or text message script or video text that you can send to your client. Can you read this out loud?
Yeah. Hi, Stephen. Zillow pinged me and let me know that you are in love with 123 Banana Street in Moreno Valley. I'm actually going to be in the area tomorrow if you wanted me to shoot a quick little video tour for you. Or better yet, are you free to come with me?
Simple. Easy text, simple. Better if you can send it as a video. Here's an example of another text message or way in which you can poke a client to get in front of them. Mona, can you come off mute and read this out loud? This is my client just canceled text, but really like my client didn't cancel. I'm just like poking at you. So say this out loud.
Hi, Stephen. A client was supposed to show properties to this. I was supposed to show properties to this week and just got a call into work. So I'm wide open Saturday. I saw you're checking out homes in Riverside. Did you want to get a few tours set up?
Great job. So make sure you check out their Zillow search history and see if they've been viewing homes. Check out Ylopo and see if they're viewing and saving any homes, and then reach out. I don't know what it is, but buyers want to work with people who are busy. And if they know that you're busy showing property, it attracts them. How many of you, raise of hands, you go on a vacation and all of a sudden when you're on vacation, all these people come out of the woodworks wanting to buy a house?
Yes.
They're just attracted to people who are busy. We used to use this sales tactic at Zillow where, like, let's say I wanted to sell some zip codes to Hedda. I would call Hedda and be like, hey, Hedda, we have a bunch of connections available over in these zip codes. Do you know anyone who would be a good fit for servicing buyers in that market? And then Hedda would say, oh, well, I sell in that market. What zip code is it? And it's like a nice like bait to get her interested. It's the same thing with the buyer. Hey, I had lined up all these showings for a buyer that was supposed to come in from out of town in Encinitas, but they had to cancel. By any chance, do you want to check them out? Okay.
Audrey, can I add something real quick to that? Yeah. So what I've done too is just basically letting them know, hey, I was in the area that you were looking at, and I previewed this for a client, and I thought of you.
Yes.
What do you think?
That's a great text. Cassidy, can you come off mute and read this one?
Sure. Hi, Stephen. I'm spending some time today cold calling for off-market properties in Riverside for you, and was curious if you had any other areas that I should have on my radar. What other neighborhoods should I add to the list?
Why do you think this text is great? Why do you think this is a good one?
It's kind of going above and beyond.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, damn girl, you're calling off markets for me. I mean, you don't really have to be, like, you just say you are, and it gets them thinking, wow, you're working really hard for me. And it gets them thinking on like what other neighborhoods they may be interested in. You're just getting them into a conversation about real estate.
Another thing to add, because we send out letters, and just say, hey, that's a really good way to also say, what other areas can we send out letters to? We've been sending letters out, but I love that.
Perfect. Katya, can you come off mute and read this one? The market is stabilizing. How many of you guys have heard that term used?
All the time.
Katya, can you come off mute and read this text?
Yes, sorry about that. Hi, Stephen. I wanted to keep you in the loop. Prices in Riverside are stabilizing, and we're beginning to see fewer offers on properties. It's a much better buying opportunity than before. You have a couple minutes to quickly connect?
Everyone wants a deal. Now, I think it's impossible to get a good deal right now still in San Diego, but I mean, it's a better time to look now than it was maybe 12 months ago. At least get them talking to you about it. So let's talk about a couple scenarios that come up. We're going to read the scenario out loud, and I want you to throw in the chat or come off mute and tell me which one of the texts or nudges we talked about could be a good one to use for this type of scenario. It's Thursday. We took a connection call, and we ended up setting an appointment for next Wednesday, which, by the way, is a mistake. If you take a connection call, you should try to meet them today or first thing tomorrow. But if you went, for whatever reason, they're not going to be in town, they're in Dubai, and they don't come back for a week, you got to get really, really clever and creative on how you're going to keep that guy engaged with you for the next like 6 days. What are examples of some good text messages that or video text messages we can send them to keep them engaged between now and Thursday?
Hey, Audrey, we can let them know about that the best time to view homes would be on a Friday, as they're newly coming on the market. So we should take advantage of at least previewing something and see where we can take it from there, if that's the style that they look forward to next week and the following week. Or maybe we go and take video for them.
Yeah, take videos for them and send it to them between now and your appointment, so you can get them engaged with you and looking at the videos and give you feedback on what they like about the home. That's a great text. What else can we send between now and next Wednesday to keep them engaged?
Information on the market, like interest rates just dropped a little below 5.
Yeah.
Or any other kind of like market updates.
Absolutely. That's awesome, Cassidy. Market updates can be really helpful. Local real estate news in that area could be helpful.
If they have a home, you can send them a CMA for their home.
Oh,
if
yeah.
Buy sell.
Absolutely. That's a great one, Eleanor. Scenario number 2. You showed a client a home a few weeks ago and you haven't been able to get them back on the phone yet. How many of you guys have had this happen to you?
All the
Probably
time.
happens all the time. What do we do now? What text messages should we send now? What pokeballs or nudges should we send to get back in front of them?
I saw
Yeah,
this
I
house.
agree.
I think of you.
Yeah,
kind
I
of-
saw this house and made me think of you. But why is that not just enough? What else should we say to that text?
You could say, hey, Audrey, we saw 123 Banana Street last week. It's still on the market. Were you interested in putting in an offer? Or if it's not on the market, can I get your feedback on what you liked and what you didn't like on that house?
That's a great text. And back to Eleanor, I saw this house and it made me think of you. Would you like to check it out? That's a good follow-up. A way to make that follow-up better would be sell them on why it made you think of them. I saw this house, 123 Cherry Street, and it made me think of you. I really think we should check it out because it has an amazing airy open floor plan. It's got great bones. You just have to do a little bit of light work to get it to your taste. Like sell them on it. Okay. Scenario number 3. You've been showing a client property for a few weeks now. You've been going hot and heavy, seeing them every week for a few weeks, but all of a sudden this weekend, they're not on your schedule and you're getting nervous. What should you do or what should you say to poke them and get them back on the calendar? A
You could
hot
send
listing
them,
that just got listed. That's a good one.
You could send them a listing and just ask if they're available this weekend at 10 a.m.
How would you phrase that text, Emily?
I saw this property that looks like it fits your criteria perfectly. I'm available this weekend at 11 a.m. Are you?
Okay, good. What else can we send?
I would say, hey, Audrey, we've been seeing homes for the last couple of weeks. My schedule's filling up real quick. Would you like to get a 1 day in there and to check out some homes?
Yeah, drive urgency. Okay, good. Is this helpful, you guys? This type of content?
Very helpful.
Okay, good. So just something to keep in mind, if you're actively talking to a customer, they should never go more than 3 days without hearing from you. Just think about that. If someone is active and they said they want to buy a home, maybe they're not pre-approved yet, but they're looking, they should never not hear from you every 3 days. That is how frequent your touches and your follow-up has to be. Okay.
I have something to bring up to you. How about if you end up with a homeless client in Zillow?
What do you mean?
That's what happened to me. We find out, so we made an appointment. Dan and I went and meet with this client and finding out she was homeless. She wanted to put an offer on the property. She said, can you guys just qualify me with what I'm earning from my unemployment? I was like, no, we can't do that. You got to have at least 2 years of history. Yeah, we end up with that one not too long ago. I shared it with Hedda and Raquel.
Yeah. We need to help everybody, regardless of their background or their circumstance. So for someone like this homeless lady, just push her in the right direction. Hey, I'm so sorry. We're not able to make an offer without any sort of current employment history, but here's a plan on what we can do, for the next 6 months or for the next year. We got to get you a job. We got to, here are some resources to help with that. What type of career you're looking at? Maybe you can facilitate some introductions, Leo, to anyone that you know in your network that is looking to hire so that she can get some employment history on the books. We got to get her pre-qualified. So get her introduced to a lender who can put her on a plan financially on what she needs to do to maybe consolidate any debt so that she can then qualify when she has a job. Then I would spend some time with her just to understand, like, hey, when you are ready to start getting pre-qualified, what exactly do you really need to have in your home? What are you looking for so that I can start keeping an eye out? And that way, when you're ready, we can just hit the ground running fast, empathize with them on their situation. If they have no money and can't afford to buy and really terrible credit, push them in the direction of where they can get low income housing. I'm not saying you need to show them low income housing, but say, hey, here are some websites in San Diego where you can apply for low income housing. And here's some information on how to, look for employment. I can connect you with someone who can help you polish up your resume. You can go to the library and get free internet. Like, be a good person and direct them to these things, and just help them, direct them. And they're going to be so grateful that you did that. And then when the time is right, when they got their life turned around and they can qualify now and they want to buy, a 1-bedroom condo or whatever it is, they're going to call you because you took 5 minutes out of your day to direct them to do this. So,
just the rule of thumb is, you went out of your way to meet them. That's a really good thing. And I'm sure you guys have given her great information, but like Audrey said, it's just about being a human being and just being kind to others. I have had many calls in the past where they're looking for a long lost loved one or somebody they knew, they haven't heard back. And just, sometimes you are an information booth and just tell them what you need, what needed to be done. So just like, for instance, I had somebody, hey, I'm looking to rent, I can't afford to buy ever, or whatever their financial situation. Just direct them to the right place and go above and beyond, and let them know the MLS is not necessarily the best source, but here's the, if you go into Zillow or Trulia or HotPad's rental section, here are, you can find rental properties there. So just directing them to the right place is really the most thing that's the best that you can do.
A few scenarios. My client said to call them in 6 months. What should I do? Cut the time by 80%, reach out every 2 to 3 weeks. Don't ever believe them. If they say call in 6 months, that's not true. Calling just to check in. Always call with a purpose and with value. And try to remember this, guys. You're not just trying to find the hot lead. You're trying to build a relationship with every lead in your follow-up boss. You're trying to get them to know you, like you, and trust you. Once you change your mindset and you approach your database like that, you are going to come out of this a lot stronger with a lot more money and a lot more momentum. I'm making my calls. I have them on drips. Raya's turned on. Leave me alone.
Right.
No, you're not doing enough. You are not doing enough. If you're just making your calls and you just let your buyers sit on a drip, you are not doing enough. Make the calls. Budget out an hour a day, call your leads, send videos, get in front of them. Look at this like a game. How can I win the nurture game? All right. This covers our content for today. I'll email over the slides, and just really quick in the chat or out loud, can you guys share what's one thing you're going to implement from our presentation today or from our training?
Video.
John's going to do video. Nice.
Video.
For me,
That's
16
gonna do
call,
video?
16 touch with the
Yeah,
client.
16, Patty.
16 touches. Good job.
Let's go. Chris is going to do video. What else? Alonzo, what are you going to do, bud?
More relevant follow-up questions, call to action.
Oh, yeah.
Think
Everything you said should have a call to action. Everything. You never want to break the chain in the communication. Any other takeaways that we're going to do from today's meeting? Make your calls. Yeah, Mariko. Call them. If you don't
Right.
call them, someone else will.
Hi, come on in.
Be more detailed with the follow-up. All right, guys. It was so great seeing you guys today.
Sorry, I
Hopefully
had
we
to
can-
do
All
had
right.
to do a Zoom call.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for your help. Appreciate it.
All right, you guys, thank you for tuning in. That was an
Sorry, get off.
amazing meeting. We appreciate you being here. This is probably the most attendance we've had. So, and by the way, you should, I don't know if Raquel already sent it out. You guys should be getting our invitation for,
I just hit send, so it's sending right now.
okay, invitation for our happy hour. I hope to see you all there. It would be really nice. And today, you guys, is our 10-year anniversary of owning Palisade Realty.
Woo!
Awesome.
That's the day I signed the deal. the first question I asked Tom, I said, am I gonna make it? I was a solo agent. I said, am I gonna make it? And then followed by the next question was, am I smart enough to do this? And he said, yes, I will be here for you. And I'm gonna leave you with that. You're smart enough to do this. You're good enough, okay? And we are here collectively to make it happen for you. So we're gonna cheers to entrepreneurship, and thank you all for working so hard. Bye.
Congratulations,
Bye.
congratulations, Hedda. Congratulations on 10 years, dude.
I
I don't know anyone that
know.
works harder than you. I really don't. You're
Yeah,
crazy.
what Eric
You're
said,
crazy.
exactly.
Congratulations, Hedda.
Thank you, you guys.
Congratulations.
It takes one to
Bye-bye.
believe, right? All right, bye.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Bye-bye.